During this year in the creation of my film, review page and poster, I have used the most efficient, simple but effective technological methods and techniques. To film my film, I used this digital camera, which was light and small, so good for taking abroad. It was capable of all standard uses of a digital camera, and because I was filming in a 60s style, I didn't need too many modern, up-to-date technological capabilities in the camera, as I wasn't going to attempt any difficult modern style camera shots. Of course, the advantage of using a digital camera was that it was simple to transfer the film footage onto a computer for editing purposes, and I didn't have to film my footage in order, which quickened the filming process quite a lot. I made sure to try as hard as possible to stick to my storyboard, as it is easy with digital cameras to get carried away and end up having to spend a lot of time cutting out unwanted material. This method of filming greatly contrasted to what I was used to at the start of the year. As you can see in my pitch, I used Apple's photo booth software to film myself. This is very basic and very restrictive, as of course the camera is part of the computer hardware. For editing, I used the software iMovie. I used a manual to find out how to remove the sound from the footage, so I could create my own soundtrack using copyright-free and sound downloads from the software iTunes, recorded sounds using a microphone, mainly for voiceovers, and sounds that come with the software GarageBand program. I also learnt how to change the colour and contrast levels, as the lighting on my location wasn't how I envisaged it and how it appeared on my storyboard. I mainly use this tool to brighten the picture. During editing, I hadn't yet created a soundtrack, so I added A Fistful of Dollars' main theme into iMovie by importing the track onto iTunes from the CD album, and then importing again from iTunes into iMovie. I did this so I could have a sense of how the soundtrack I would later create might work with the picture. I couldn't use this soundtrack though, as it was copyrighted and I wanted to make my own one anyway. For audience feedback, I used the camera, questionnaires created on the software Microsoft Word, but I also screened it on the social networking website Facebook. This meant I could access my target audience very quickly and receive easily analysable electronic feedback. I also uploaded it to the video sharing website YouTube.com, as it shows in-depth statistics on who views the video, and I might be able to get electronic feedback from people outside my social network. For my film poster, I used a few techniques on Photoshop to create the 60s design style. I used a magic lasso tool to cut roughly around the cross in my main two characters. I combined this with a colour overlay tool so as to create striking rough outline silhouettes. I downloaded a font from the uncopyright font website dafont.com that matched the rough outline style, a font suitably named Eastwood. I browsed dafont.com because compared to Photoshop they have a much bigger range of different fonts. I took stills for my review page and poster from my film using Command-Shift-4. I also created a slideshow out of my storyboard, which I coloured using Photoshop. I took the colours using the eyedropper tool from my location shoot to find out what my storyboard might look like after it was filmed.